I literally kicked my pregnant sister out of my own wedding in front of 200 guests, and now my entire family is saying I'm a heartless monster. But let me explain exactly what happened, because I swear anyone in my position would have done the same thing. First of all, hi everyone! If you're enjoying this story, go ahead and like it and subscribe to the channel, because I always bring these stories that get people talking. And tell me in the comments which city you're watching from. I love knowing where you all are. Anyway, back to the drama. I got married 2 weeks ago to my now husband Lucas. We've been together for 5 years and engaged for a year and a half. My sister Laura has been married to Pedro for 3 years. This context is important because Laura always, and when I say always, I mean always, needs to be the center of attention in absolutely everything. She's been like this since we were kids. At my 10th birthday party, she fainted right when it was time to sing happy birthday, and everyone ran to help her. We found out later she faked it because she thought I was getting too much attention. At my high school graduation, she chose that exact day to announce she'd been accepted to a federal university, even though she'd known for 2 weeks, but waited strategically. At my cousin's engagement party, she showed up with her hair dyed bright pink by accident and spent the whole party being the main topic. But let's get to the point. Throughout my entire engagement, Laura was a nightmare. First, she was furious when I announced my engagement because, according to her, I should have waited for her to get pregnant first since she's older. That's right. You read that correctly. She said, and I quote, "It's really inconsiderate of you to get engaged before I have a child. You know Pedro and I have been trying for 2 years. Couldn't you have waited? Like, hello? Should I put my life on hold because she couldn't get pregnant?" And detail. She never told me they were trying. I found out that day. During the wedding preparations, Laura did everything to cause chaos. When I went to choose my dress, she came along, my mom insisted, and started trying on wedding dresses too, just for fun. When the salespeople started giving her attention, thinking she was also getting married, she didn't correct them. She paraded around in white dresses for an hour while I, the actual bride, waited. At the buffet tasting, she said she was allergic to shrimp. A lie. I've seen her eat shrimp 1,000,000 times, and made the buffet change the entire seafood menu. Later, I found out she just didn't feel like eating seafood that day. 3 months before the wedding, she called me crying at 11 at night. Pedro had surprised her with a romantic gesture, taking her to a fancy dinner to celebrate his new job. Know what she did? She got mad because she thought he was going to propose again. Hello? So they could renew their vows on the same day as my wedding. When he explained it was just a normal dinner, she caused a scene in the restaurant and came home crying. Then came choosing the bridesmaids. Originally, I didn't want her as a bridesmaid. I chose my 3 best friends from college. My mom nearly had a heart attack. "How can your sister not be a bridesmaid? That's absurd. What a shame. What will people say?" After weeks of pressure, emotional terrorism, and my mom literally crying every single day, I gave in. I removed one of my friends, who by the way was super upset with me, and put Laura as a bridesmaid. Big mistake. Laura chose a bridesmaid dress that, by coincidence, was almost white. It was such a light nude that depending on the light, it looked white. When I asked her to change it, she threw a fit saying I was being controlling and that not every bride needs to be insecure around other beautiful women. 2 weeks before the wedding, she texted me asking if Pedro could give a speech. I said the program was already set, only the best men and parents would speak. She insisted for days. I gave in again because my mom said I was making a problem out of nothing. 1 week before the wedding, I found out via Instagram that Laura had thrown a surprise bachelorette party for me that I didn't know about and wasn't invited to. That's right. She gathered some distant cousins and some of her friends, went to a bar, drank, posted photos saying my little sister's bachelorette party, and didn't even call me. When I confronted her, she said it was symbolic and that I wouldn't like it anyway because it was at a bar and not a fancy spa. Now comes the cherry on top. 3 days before the wedding, she called me casually asking if she could bring an extra guest. Apparently, her childhood best friend, who I've never even heard of, was in town, and it would be very rude not to invite her. The wedding already had 200 people, everything counted and organized, but once again my mom pressured me and I allowed it. On the wedding day, I was getting ready when Laura showed up in the bridal suite. She was wearing a different dress than what we'd agreed on. It was a golden dress with tons of sparkle that, I swear to God, looked more expensive than mine. When I questioned it, she said the other one had ripped that morning, obvious lie, and this was the only one she could get last minute. Another lie, the dress was clearly custom made. Laura, you can't wear that. It looks like an Oscar gala dress. Oh, sis, relax. No one will look at me. You're the bride. Lie number 3457. During the ceremony, she cried, but not a discreet, emotional cry. She sobbed, loudly. The priest had to stop speaking twice. When we were exchanging rings, she pretended to feel sick, and my cousin, who's a doctor, had to leave his seat to check on her. 5 minutes of ceremony paused until she got better. During the photos, she always positioned herself in the center, always in front. In every group photo, there was Laura shining, brighter than a shopping mall Christmas tree. During the reception, she made sure to dance to every song in the center of the dance floor. When they played the song that Lucas and I danced to when we met, she pulled Pedro and started dancing super sensually right in the middle of the floor, in front of us. But nothing compares to what happened during the speeches. My dad gave a beautiful, emotional speech. My mom, too. Lucas's best man, his brother, told funny and cute stories. My best friend Amanda made everyone cry with emotion from her words. Then it was my turn. The bride giving the last speech before dinner. I had prepared something special, thanking everyone, telling our love story, talking about our plans. I was halfway through the speech, in the most emotional part, talking about how Lucas supported me when I lost my job last year, and how that strengthened our love. The room was silent, some people visibly emotional. That's when Laura stood up. I have an announcement! Everyone turned to look at her. Me, with the microphone in hand, standing in the middle of the room looking incredulous. Sorry to interrupt, sis, but I can't wait any longer. She came up to where I was, took the microphone from my hand, and continued. Everyone, I know today is my little sister's day, but I need to share some wonderful news with you all who are our family and dear friends. Pedro and I finally did it. I'm pregnant, 3 months. The room exploded in applause and cheers. People stood up to hug her. My mom started crying and ran to hug Laura. Pedro came up too. They hugged, kissed. It was a commotion. And me? I stood there, frozen, alone, at my wedding, in the middle of my speech, watching my sister completely steal the moment. But it didn't stop there, not at all. Laura continued, and there's more. We found out yesterday. It's twins. More cheers, more applause, more commotion. And we already know the genders, a boy and a girl. And guess what the boy's name will be? Lucas, in honor of my handsome brother-in-law. She turned and hugged my husband, in front of everyone, at my wedding. I saw red, literally saw everything red in front of me. 3 months pregnant, 3 months. That means she knew for at least a month and a half. She strategically waited until the moment of my bride's speech to announce it. I walked up to her, took the microphone back and said, in the calmest voice I could manage, "What wonderful news, Laura. Congratulations. Now, please leave." The silence was immediate. "What?" She laughed nervously. "Leave. From my wedding. Now. Sis, you're joking, right? I just shared good news. You waited 3 months to announce your pregnancy exactly in the middle of my bride's speech. You planned this. You always do this, but not today. Leave. My mom came running up. Daughter, don't do this. It's your sister. She's pregnant. Exactly. She's been pregnant for 3 months and chose to announce it now, at my wedding, in the middle of my speech. Mom, either she leaves or I leave, and if I leave, there's no more party. Lucas came to my side. Love, let's talk. No, Lucas, enough. I gave in to everything. Her dress, her as bridesmaid, Pedro's speech, the extra guest, everything. But this went too far. Laura started crying. You're kicking me out of your wedding because I'm pregnant? What kind of monster does that? No, I'm kicking you out because you're a narcissist who can't let a single day be about someone else. Leave, now. Pedro tried to intervene. Sister-in-law, please. She didn't mean any harm. Pedro, with all due respect, shut up. Your wife spent the entire engagement sabotaging my wedding, and you allowed it. Both of you leave. My dad, who had been quiet until then, came up and spoke softly to me. Daughter, are you sure? Dad, either she leaves, or I'm leaving now and suing her for emotional damages, because I have proof of everything she did. All the messages, all the audios, everything. That's when the situation escalated. Laura started screaming that I was crazy, jealous, that I couldn't stand seeing her happy, that I was always the favorite daughter and now couldn't handle sharing attention. I took the microphone and spoke to the entire room. Dear guests, I apologize for the scene. My sister and her husband are leaving. Please, let's continue the celebration. The venue's security, who I had instructed beforehand precisely anticipating something like this, approached politely and escorted Laura and Pedro out, while she screamed that I would regret it, that she would miscarry from stress, and it would be my fault. Half of my family left with her. My mom stayed, but spent the rest of the party crying in the bathroom. My dad stayed by my side, but visibly uncomfortable. The party continued, but the vibe never returned to normal. Some guests came to congratulate me on my action. Others looked at me like I was the devil himself. The next day, instead of enjoying my honeymoon, I was receiving messages from the entire family calling me heartless, selfish, monster, inhumane. Apparently, Laura had an anxiety attack and needed to go to the hospital. Spoiler. She's fine. It was drama. My Instagram was bombarded with hate messages. Cousins who haven't spoken to me in years showed up to say I'm the worst person in the world. Distant aunts sent 10-minute audios saying I'll regret it when I want to get pregnant and can't. The truth is, this goes way back. Let me give more context because you need to understand that it wasn't an impulsive decision. When I was 16 and Laura 20, I won a full scholarship for a 6-month exchange program in the United States. It was my dream. I studied hard to get it. On the day the results came out, my family had a dinner to celebrate. In the middle of the dinner, Laura announced she had decided to drop out of college because it wasn't for her. The whole dinner that was supposed to be about my achievement turned into convincing Laura not to quit her studies. My scholarship wasn't even mentioned anymore. When I returned from the exchange, I found out Laura had used my room as a closet. That's right, she turned my room into her personal closet. My things were all boxed up in the basement. When I complained, my mom said I had to understand that Laura was going through a tough phase after dropping out of college. At 21, I got my first job at a multinational company. Great salary, benefits, everything I dreamed of. On the same day, Laura announced in the family group that she and Pedro were moving in together. Guess what the topic of the month was? Spoiler, not my job. When Laura got married 3 years ago, I was a maid of honor. She made me wear a horrendous dress, moss green, that she knew I hated. Said it was so as not to outshine the bride. Detail: the other maids wore light pink dresses. Only I looked like a walking avocado. In her wedding photos, she always positioned me in the corners, half hidden. In one of the main photos, she accidentally stood in front of me, completely blocking me. During her wedding, when I gave my maid of honor speech, which she reviewed and edited 5 times until approving, she was talking loudly with people at her table. I had to practically shout into the microphone. When I finished, she didn't even clap. She was on her phone. But let's go back to my wedding and more details that show it was all calculated. A month before the wedding, Laura casually asked me when the speeches would be. I explained the whole program. She even took notes on her phone saying it was so as not to be late. Now I know it was to plan the exact moment of the announcement. 2 weeks before, she went to the doctor and had an ultrasound. Found out it was twins and the baby's genders. She saved that information specifically for the wedding. Her own mother, my mom, didn't know. She told my mother-in-law before telling her own mom, just to ensure maximum impact in the announcement. The day before the wedding, at the rehearsal dinner, she was strangely quiet and well-behaved. Now I understand. She was saving energy for the next day's show. Pedro kept looking at her and whispering things, probably about their plan. On the wedding day, I found out later that she had arranged with one of our cousins to film the announcement moment. That's right. She asked someone to film. It was all premeditated. The video is already on her TikTok with 50K views, and the title, Announcing My Twin Pregnancy at the Wedding. Emotional moment. Cruel detail. She knew that Lucas and I have been trying to get pregnant for a year. I had 2 miscarriages this year that only my close family knows about. She used the name Lucas for the baby, knowing that would destroy me emotionally. After she was escorted out, I found out more things through the best men and bridesmaids. 1. She had tried to convince the DJ to play Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder after her announcement, saying it was a surprise for me. The DJ thought it was weird and consulted me first, so it didn't happen. 2. She had brought a white dress in her bag. That's right. She planned to change into white after the announcement in celebration of the life she was carrying. The only reason she didn't change was because I kicked her out first. 3. She had arranged with 3 cousins to shout, "Congrats to the mom," the moment she announced, to amp up the commotion. 4. She brought paper and pen to note down who congratulated her and who didn't, to know who the true family friends were. Pedro, who everyone paints as the poor guy, was totally complicit. He posted on Instagram stories during my wedding a photo of her belly with the caption, "Big news today." When questioned by mutual friends, he said he thought Laura had already told. My 87-year-old grandmother, who has heart problems, almost got sick from the confusion. She had to take blood pressure medicine and left early. But Laura didn't care, right? The important thing was her show. The childhood friend she brought last minute. She was a local influencer that she paid to go and cover the pregnancy announcement. That's right, she paid someone to publicize the moment. Oh, and the dress that ripped in the morning? My cousin saw it intact in her car. She simply lied to wear the golden sequin dress she bought specifically to outshine. During the reception, before the speeches show, she went to every table taking selfies and being nice, something she never does. Why? To ensure everyone was paying attention to her when she made the announcement. It was a personal marketing job. I also found out she created a WhatsApp group called Laura's Twin Pregnancy and added 47 people during my wedding. While I was dancing the waltz with my dad, she was adding people to the group and sending ultrasounds. And the worst of all? She had told my mom the week before that she had a beautiful surprise for the wedding, and my mom thought she had prepared some tribute for me. My mom was expecting something cute and ended up with that circus. But wait, it gets worse. At the hospital where she was dramatically taken after the wedding, she did an Instagram live showing her suffering and saying that her heartless sister had put the babies' lives at risk. 500 people watching live, commenting that I was a monster. The next day, she created a post on Facebook in the family group, which has 200 people, including distant relatives, with the title, "When Jealousy Speaks Louder Than Love." The text had 3 paragraphs telling her version, where she just shared the happiness and was cruelly humiliated and kicked out pregnant with twins. The post had 89 comments, most crucifying me. There was a great aunt I didn't even know saying I was always problematic. A third-degree cousin saying she knew I was evil since childhood. People who weren't even invited to the wedding opining on my character. My honeymoon in Cancun was ruined. I cried every day. Lucas tried to cheer me up. But how to enjoy when you have 200 messages on your phone calling you a psychopath? I blocked over 50 people, including close family. Oh, and guess what I found out yesterday? 2 weeks later? Her anxiety attack that needed the hospital? Lie. She went to the hospital, yes, but for a private ultrasound to find out more details about the babies to post on Instagram. She faked a crisis to gain more sympathy. And now she's spreading that she's going to have a gender reveal tea, even though she already knows the genders, in the same venue where my wedding was, on the same date next month, as a way to re-signify the space of trauma. She already sent invitations to everyone who went to my wedding. Except me, obviously. The situation only got worse after the wedding. A lot. Like family World War level. 2 days after the wedding, when I came back from the honeymoon early, yes, we returned after 4 days because I couldn't take it anymore, I found my house vandalized. That's right, vandalized. Someone wrote "jealous" on my gate with red spray paint. The cameras caught a car, but couldn't identify who it was. I have my suspicions. My mom showed up at my house on the 3rd day crying, begging me to apologize. She even brought a gift that Laura had bought for the nieces, nephews, 2 baby onesies with the phrase, "My uncle and aunt love me even if I stole the show." Seriously. She thought it was cute. Mom, don't you see the provocation in this? Daughter, it's just a joke. You've always been too sensitive. Laura is pregnant. The hormones... Mom, hormones don't make anyone plan for months how to sabotage a wedding. Oh, she didn't sabotage anything. She just shared a joy. In the middle of my speech, Mom. In the middle. So what? You could have continued after. That's when I showed her all the proof. The screenshots of conversations where Laura asked about the program, photos of the dress that didn't rip, the video of the cousin filming before the announcement, the influencer she paid. My mom was silent for a few minutes. Even so, daughter, it's your sister, and she's pregnant with twins. Think about the babies. The babies aren't to blame for having a narcissistic mother, but they're not my responsibility either. She left saying I'd regret it, that family is everything, that one day I'd need Laura. Spoiler, I highly doubt it. On the 4th day, I received a summons. That's right, a summons. Laura was suing me for moral and psychological damages and putting a high-risk pregnancy at risk. Detail, her pregnancy is not high risk. She made that up. I called my lawyer, who luckily is a college friend, And he laughed. Literally laughed. She has no basis at all. In fact, you could sue her for disturbance at a private event. And that's what I'm considering. But then came the low blow. Laura posted on Instagram a photo at the hospital getting an ultrasound with the caption, "Checking if my babies survived the trauma of being kicked out of a family environment. Thank God they're fine, despite everything we went through." The comments? A horror. What an evil aunt these babies have. Imagine doing that to a pregnant woman. Heartless. The babies aren't even born and already rejected. My husband had to hold me back from responding, but my best friend Amanda didn't hold back. She commented, "Funny you don't mention interrupting the bride's speech at her wedding, huh?" The comment was deleted in 2 minutes, and Amanda was blocked. On the 5th day, my dad came to talk. He's always been more balanced, so I thought I'd have an ally. Sweet illusion. "Daughter, I understand your frustration, really. Laura overdid it, but kicking her out was too much." "Dad, you saw everything she did." "I did, and I agree it was wrong. But 2 wrongs don't make a right. So I should have let her turn my wedding into her show. You should have dealt with it later, in private." "Dad, if I hadn't done anything at the time, today everyone would be commenting on her pregnancy and not my wedding. Actually, they already are. But at least the family wouldn't be divided." "The family has always been divided, Dad, between those who make excuses for Laura and those who see the truth." He sighed and said something that stuck with me. "You may be right, but being right sometimes costs a lot." On the 6th day, I found out, through a cousin, that Laura was organizing a reconciliation baby shower. The idea was to gather the whole family, make me show up without knowing what it was, and publicly forgive me in front of everyone. She even prepared a speech about how love overcomes everything. Obviously, I didn't go. But the worst came on the 7th day. I received a call from the venue where my wedding was. Laura had called them saying she was ME and tried to cancel the photos and video from my wedding, claiming I didn't want the memories anymore. Luckily, the contract was in my name and ID, so they called me to confirm. That was the last straw. I called Laura. Pedro answered. "Put your wife on now." "Sister-in-law, let's talk civilly. Either you put her on or I'll come there personally and it won't be pretty." Laura took the phone. "Hi, sis. What a surprise. You called to apologize." "Shut up and listen. You tried to cancel the photos from my wedding. That's a crime. Identity fraud. I have the venue's recording. If you don't stop this persecution now, I'll sue you, and it's not a threat." "Oh, sis, always so dramatic. It was just a little joke." "A joke? You're trying to sabotage my wedding even after it happened. You humiliated me in front of 200 people. You humiliated yourself when you thought my wedding was a stage for your announcements. I'm pregnant, with twins. Don't you have empathy? And I was the bride, at my wedding. Don't you have respect?" She hung up on me. 1 hour later, new Instagram post. A photo of her crying with Pedro hugging her. Caption, "When you try to extend a hand and get stones in return, but we continue with love for our babies." My mother-in-law, who had been neutral until then, called me. "Dear, I saw everything that's happening. I want you to know you have my full support. At the wedding, I was shocked by what your sister did. Very disrespectful. At least someone with common sense." But then my mother-in-law continued. "But I need to tell you something. Laura contacted me last week before the wedding. She wanted to know if you were planning to announce a pregnancy at the wedding. Said she had heard rumors." I said I didn't know anything. Now I understand she was probing to ensure her announcement would be the only news. I was speechless. The level of premeditation was sick. On the 8th day, the situation escalated for good. Laura went on the local radio show that my aunt hosts. 40 minutes of interview telling her version. Cried on air, said she always supported me, that she was a bridesmaid even though I didn't want her initially, twisting the truth, that she was happy for my happiness. According to her, the announcement was spontaneous, motivated by the emotion of seeing her little sister getting married. She couldn't hold back the happiness. And I, the evil sister, kicked her out without even letting her grab her purse, pregnant, defenseless, humiliated. The interview went viral in the city. I received messages from people I didn't even know insulting me. My Instagram had to be set to private because they were attacking me on photos from 2015. Lucas got pissed and wanted to respond publicly, but I didn't let him. Yet. On the 9th day, my maternal grandmother, not the one who got sick, another one, called me. My granddaughter, I'm here to give you a message from Laura. Are you a carrier pigeon now? Don't be sassy with me, young lady. Your sister is suffering. And I'm not? You caused your own suffering with your thoughtless action. Grandma, with all respect, you weren't even at the wedding. You were traveling. But I saw the videos. You were cruel. You saw the edited video that Laura posted. You didn't see her interrupting my speech. Even so. No, Grandma. No, even so. Either you saw everything or you can't opine. She hung up saying I was dead to her. It hurt. But what can you do? 10th day. The peak of absurdity. I wake up to 50 WhatsApp messages. Laura had created a group called United Family with 73 relatives. The first message was a long text. Dear family, I created this group to communicate that, despite the recent hurts, I won't hold grudges. My babies need to know the whole family, including the aunt. So when they're born, everyone will be welcome, including her. Love always wins. The responses were a show of flattery. What maturity! You're an angel. These babies are lucky to have a mom like that. Example of forgiveness. I responded only, I don't need your forgiveness for defending my own wedding, and you can remove me from the group. I was removed immediately, but then my cousin Carlos, who's like a brother to me, sent screenshots. Laura continued, Guys, I tried, right? But some people prefer hate over love. Let's pray for her. Pray for me. Carlos responded in the group. Funny you talk about love after planning for months how to steal the spotlight from your sister's wedding. Yes, we all know. Yes, there are proofs. Yes, you're a narcissist. And no, no one here is an idiot, just convenient. He was removed too. Later, Carlos told me that at least 15 people agreed with me, but were afraid to speak up. Afraid of Laura, afraid of my mom, afraid of dividing the family. Cousin, the problem isn't you. It never was. It's that it's easier to pressure the reasonable person to give in than to confront the crazy one. That made me think a lot. How many times did I give in to keep the peace? How many times did I swallow my pride because family is like that? On the 11th day, I found out Laura was spreading that Lucas and I were having marriage problems because of this situation. Total lie. Lucas is 100% on my side. But she told several people that he was reconsidering after seeing my cruel side. Lucas was furious. He called Pedro. Dude, control your wife. She's spreading lies about my marriage now. Lucas, you know how she is. Exactly. We all know. And you all let her do whatever she wants. But it's over. If she keeps lying about me and my wife, I'll expose everything on social media. And when I say everything, it's everything. Lucas had more bombshell information. Apparently, Pedro had confided in him the previous year that he was tired of Laura's crises, that she dramatized everything, that he was considering separation. But then she got pregnant, and he decided to try again. Pedro begged Lucas not to say anything, promised he'd control Laura. Spoiler, he didn't. 12th day. Laura announced on Facebook that she was doing a post-trauma twin pregnancy diary. That's right. She created a blog to document the pregnancy and how she was overcoming the wedding trauma. The first post? Day 1 after the storm, feeling the babies and trying to transmit calm despite the pain in my heart. I couldn't take it. I created a fake profile and commented, "It must be really hard to get over the trauma of having planned for months how to sabotage your sister's wedding and getting caught red-handed." The comment lasted 3 minutes. On the 13th day, the plot twist no one saw coming happened. I got a call from an unknown number. It was Mariana, Laura's former best friend from high school. "Hi, you don't really know me, but we need to talk about your sister." Look, if this is to defend her, on the contrary, I want to tell you some truths your family needs to hear. We met at a cafe. What she told me was shocking. At Mariana's wedding 5 years ago, Laura did something similar. She announced a work promotion during the bride and groom's speeches. She grabbed the microphone and gave a 10-minute speech about women in the workplace and how she was an example of overcoming adversity. At Mariana's sister's 15th birthday party, Laura showed up with electric blue hair, wearing a tight red dress. The party theme was pink and white, and accidentally knocked over the cake before they could sing happy birthday. Then she faked a panic attack to become the center of attention. At their cousin's graduation, Laura pretended to twist her ankle during the diploma ceremony and had to be carried out of the auditorium, making a huge scene. I cut ties with her 3 years ago. Best decision of my life. She's sick, she needs treatment, but she'll never admit it. Mariana gave me screenshots of old conversations, voice messages, years of proof of Laura's toxic behavior, an arsenal. Use it if you need to. People need to know who she really is. 14th day. Laura's lawyer called me. Yes, she was actually going ahead with the lawsuit. She wanted 50,000 BRL for emotional damages, 30,000 BRL for risk to the pregnancy, and a public retraction. My lawyer laughed so hard he had to apologize. Let her waste money on this. It's going nowhere. In fact, we're filing a counter-lawsuit for harassment, defamation, and attempted fraud when she tried to cancel your photos. And that's exactly what we're doing now. But wait, there's more. 15th day, my cousin Andre, an obstetrician, called me. "Cousin, I need to tell you something. Laura came to my office today. She wanted me to certify that her pregnancy was high risk because of the psychological trauma from the wedding. And it's not. Her pregnancy is perfect. The babies are fine. She literally asked me to lie on a medical document. You refused, right? Of course. But she left saying she'd find a doctor who truly understands a mother's suffering." 16th day. My godmother came to my house. "Sweetheart, I came to ask for forgiveness. For years, I saw what Laura did to you and never said anything. But what she did at your wedding was pure malice. She told me that at her son's baptism 10 years ago, Laura showed up 2 hours late wearing a white dress, saying she thought it was a wedding." 17th day. Pedro came to me alone. "Sis-in-law, I knew what she was going to do. I tried to talk her out of it, but you know, Laura. And you just let it happen? What could I do? She's my wife, the mother of my children. She'd know it was me, and then my life would become hell, more than it already is." 18th day. Laura started an online fundraiser for the baby shower. Goal, 20,000 BRL, to buy the layette the babies deserve after so much suffering. In 24 hours, she had already raised $8,000. 19th day. I found out Laura was doing tours around the family, visiting relative after relative, crying, getting gifts. In each house, the story got worse. To some, I had pushed her. To others, I had threatened her physically. 20th day. My boss called me in. Someone had sent an anonymous email to the company saying I was unstable and dangerous. The IP address? From Laura's house. Now she was trying to ruin me professionally. I called my lawyer. Sue her for everything. 21st day. Laura got a medical certificate for severe gestational stress and was put on leave from work. Detail: she hated her job. 22nd day. My mom had a nervous breakdown. Hospital. The family blamed me. I went to visit her. Why can't you two just get along? Mom, I tried for 27 years. I'm done. But she's pregnant? So what? Does that give her the right to do whatever she wants? 23rd day. Sandra, the event planner, called me. Your sister contacted me 2 months before the wedding asking how the speech order worked. I have the emails. She researched how to cause maximum impact. I can testify in court. 24th day. Laura created a YouTube channel. Diary of a Twin Mom Survivor. First video, 45 minutes telling her version. 100K views in 2 days, monetized. 25th day. I discovered Laura was selling the story to a local magazine for 5,000 BRL. The journalist contacted me, I showed the evidence, story canceled. Laura sent me 47 voice messages cursing me out. 26th day, conciliation hearing. She showed up with her belly out, all dolled up, a friend filming for the documentary. The judge saw her, fake evidence, and mine, real. Suggested she drop the lawsuit. She refused. My lawyer filed the counter lawsuit on the spot. 27th day. Laura is now selling consulting for mothers with toxic family members. 200 BRL per session. 28th day. My Aunt Rosa posted on Facebook. Enough lies. I was at the wedding. I saw everything. Laura interrupted the bride's speech. It was premeditated, cruel, narcissistic, and now she's profiting from it. 200 shares, family civil war, 30th day, yesterday. Laura suing me again for harassment, but my lawsuit against her was accepted. 6 witnesses confirmed. The question everyone keeps asking, did I go too far? Because there are still people saying I should forgive her because family is family. But let me tell you more details that show the level of manipulation. On the 31st day, I discovered something shocking through Pedro, who was getting more and more desperate. He sent me screenshots of Laura's chats with her friends from before she even found out she was pregnant. She literally wrote, "When I get pregnant, I'm going to announce it at my sister's wedding. It'll be epic. She always had everything. Now it's my turn to shine." That was written 6 months before the wedding, when she wasn't even pregnant yet. She planned to get pregnant just to make the announcement at my wedding. Pedro confirmed. She tracked ovulation, took folic acid, did everything to make sure she'd be 3 to 4 months pregnant on the wedding date. Sis-in-law, she made me have sex on specific dates. She said it was to have a baby of a certain zodiac sign. Now I understand it was to sync with your wedding. This is sick on so many levels, I don't even know where to start. 32nd day. Influencer Camila contacted me. Laura had paid her 2,000 BRL and created a 5-page document with instructions on what to film at the wedding, including angles and specific moments. 34th day. The family WhatsApp group imploded. 2 groups emerged. Real United Family, 23 people Team Laura, and Family Without Hypocrisy, 31 people Team Truth. 35th day. Laura did a 2-hour live spreading lies about my childhood. 15K viewers, 36th day. Laura launched t-shirts. Survivor of a toxic family. 50 BRL each sold 200 in 1 week. Char $10,000 BRL 37th day. Pedro showed up destroyed. I'm getting divorced. She has a notebook with plans to destroy you. She spends all our money on this. 38th day. Mariana posted a video exposing Laura. 500K views. Laura exposed trending. 39th day. Laura hospitalized with high blood pressure. Still posting stories from the hospital blaming me. 40th day. Today, at that point. Her lawsuit dismissed as frivolous and in bad faith. She has to pay costs and legal fees. Pedro left home. Laura is writing a book about it. 7 people mentioned in the book are suing her. The web of lies is collapsing, but people still call me the villain because she's pregnant. Where was the compassion when she ruined my wedding? When she tried to get me fired? When she's profiting from defamation? All because my sister can't let a single day be about anyone else. Now comes the part you won't believe. Because after all of this, something happened that completely changed the game. 41st day. I got a call at 6 a.m., Pedro crying. The babies were born, premature, 32 weeks. They're in the NICU. My heart sank. No matter what, they're my nephews or nieces. Pedro, how are they? Stable, but serious. Laura. Laura is out of control. She's blaming you. Blaming me how? I wasn't even there. She says the stress you caused made her go into premature labor. I hung up. I wasn't playing that game. But 20 minutes later, my mom was at my door. You have to go to the hospital. Mom, now! Your nephew's nieces are fighting for their lives. Mom, Laura literally said it's my fault. So what? You'll prove you're the bigger person. Go. Against every instinct, I went. I arrived at the hospital and the circus was already set up. Laura had called the local press. Yes, press. She was giving interviews outside the NICU about how family trauma caused the premature birth. When she saw me, she screamed, "Murderer, you almost killed my children!" Cameras turned to me. Flashes, microphones, questions. Is it true you kicked your pregnant sister out of the wedding? Why do you hate your nephew's nieces? Will you apologize? I said nothing. Turned around and left, but the damage was done. That night's news headline, Premature Babies After Family Fight. Aunt accused of causing early labor. My lawyer immediately sent a notice to the station demanding right of reply. Threatened defamation lawsuit. 42nd day. Insane plot twist. The head nurse from the NICU contacted me. Miss, I shouldn't be doing this, but your sister is harming the baby's treatment. How? She's live streaming nonstop, won't let the staff work, questions every procedure. Yesterday, she tried to give the baby sugar water because she saw online it was good. Premature babies in the NICU. She almost killed them. The nurse showed me a report. Laura was so disruptive the team was considering requesting a restraining order. She brought a faith healer yesterday, a faith healer to the NICU. When we didn't let her in, she made a scene saying we were killing her children with traditional medicine and wanted holistic treatment. 43rd day, Pedro called desperate. She's completely out of control, wants to discharge the babies against medical advice, says she'll treat them at home with natural medicine. The babies can't even breathe on their own yet. He had called Child Protective Services. Yes, the father had to call CPS to protect his children from their mother. She accused me of conspiring with you, said I'm going to steal the kids to give them to you to raise. Me? Raise her kids? The woman has completely lost it. 44th day. The video of Laura screaming at me in the hospital went viral, but not how she expected. Comments. What an unhinged woman. Using NICU babies for clout. She clearly needs psychiatric help. Poor sister. Public opinion was turning. People started questioning her narrative. An investigative journalist contacted me. He had dug into Laura's past, found she had a history of lawsuits, a coworker for stealing her ideas, a neighbor for excessive noise, the neighbor had a baby, a store for discrimination, they wouldn't exchange an item without receipt, a restaurant for food poisoning. She had a stomach ache. All dismissed. 45th day, the hearing for my lawsuit against her. Laura arrived in a wheelchair, unnecessary according to doctors, with an IV drip. She asked them to put it in to look more fragile, crying. But the judge wasn't impressed, especially when my lawyer presented the emails to the event planner, the paid influencer's testimony, screenshots from the Destroy My Sister notebook, monetized videos, t-shirts sold, the attempt to cancel my photos, the fake email to my work, her history of previous lawsuits. The judge ruled on the spot. Laura was ordered to pay 80,000 BRL in emotional damages, issue a public retraction, remove all defamatory content from the internet, 200 hours of community service, mandatory psychological treatment. Laura fainted. For real this time. Was taken to the hospital. 46th day. My mom came to me. For the first time, not defending Laura. Honey, I saw the evidence in court. I didn't know. I didn't know it was so calculated. Mom, I tried to show you. I know, but she's my daughter. Both of you are. I wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding. And now? Now I see Laura needs help. Professional help. And that you were right. Forgive me? We cried. We hugged. But the damage was done. 47th day. Pedro got a court order, temporary full custody. Laura can't be alone with the babies. She posted 15 videos in a row blaming me. My sister stole my children. Conspiracy to destroy a mother. She wouldn't even spare my premature babies. Instagram took down her account for repeated harassment violations. 48th day. I found out something shocking through Mariana. Laura was not pregnant with twins naturally. She did IVF specifically to have twins and guarantee maximum impact at the announcement. She spent 40,000 BRL they didn't have on treatment to get twins for my wedding. Pedro confirmed. They're in debt. He had no idea. She did it secretly and took out a loan. 49th day. Laura escaped from the psychiatric hospital where she was committed by court order. Yes, escaped. Showed up at my house at 3 a.m., disheveled, barefoot, screaming. You destroyed my life. You took everything from me. My children, my husband, my family. Neighbors called the police. She was taken back, but not before smashing my car window with a brick. 50th day. The babies were discharged from the NICU. They're okay, thank God. Pedro took them to his parents' house. Laura has 1-hour supervised visits per day. On the first visit, she tried to sneak out with the babies. Security stopped her. Lost visitation rights for 30 days. 51st day. I received a letter. From Laura. From the psych ward. 10 pages, front and back. Summary. Everything is still my fault. I was always the favorite. I always had it easy. She just wanted one moment to shine. I'm evil for not understanding. Our parents always loved me more. I was born to overshadow her. At the end, she wrote, one day you'll pay. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day you'll feel the pain you caused me. My lawyer added the letter to the case. Threat, 52nd day. The family slowly started reconciling. The Family Without Hypocrisy group was renamed Family Reconstruction. People from Team Laura started apologizing, saying they were manipulated. My aunt who did the radio show with Laura apologized publicly, said she was deceived, that Laura twisted all the facts. 53rd day. I found out Laura was originally pregnant with triplets. Lost one in the first trimester. Hid it from everyone, including Pedro. The doctor who did the IVF contacted me after clearing it legally. Your sister insisted on implanting 4 embryos against medical advice. She wanted to guarantee multiples. It was irresponsible. She put her life and the baby's lives at risk for vanity. 54th day. Pedro filed for divorce. Laura was served the papers in the hospital. Had to be sedated after trashing the room. She's claiming abandonment of an incapacitated person. Wants 10,000 BRL month alimony. Pedro earns 4,000. 55th day, yesterday. I went to see the babies. I couldn't take it anymore. They're my nephew and niece. They're beautiful, tiny, but perfect. The boy is really named Lucas. The girl, Sophia. Pedro cried when he saw me with them. I'm sorry. For everything. For not stopping her. For being a coward. Pedro, you're a victim too. But I allowed it. For years. I saw her do these things and did nothing. Now you're doing something. You're protecting your children. Today, 56th day. I got the news. Laura was discharged from psych but arrested. Yes, arrested. Remember the fake email to my work? That's a crime. False reporting. Remember trying to cancel my photos? Ideological falsehood. The brick in my car, property damage, the threat in the letter? Well, threat. She'll answer in freedom but with an ankle monitor. Can't come near me, Pedro, or the babies without supervision. And now the final reflection. What do you think? Did I go too far by kicking her out of the IVF? Wedding? Because looking at everything that happened afterward, it's clear the problem wasn't my reaction. It was her actions. Let me recap some facts I discovered later that might change your perspective. 1. The IVF. Laura spent 40,000 BRL she didn't have, took out a loan in Pedro's name without him knowing, just to guarantee a twin pregnancy timed with my wedding. She did 4 IVF cycles. 4. First failed. Second, she miscarried. Third failed. On the 4th, she begged the doctor to implant 4 embryos to make sure. 2. The sick planning. I found on her computer, Pedro gave me access, a folder called Wedding Project. It had spreadsheet with ovulation dates calculated to be 3 to 4 months pregnant in October, scripts of what to say, she rehearsed 47 different versions, research on best moments for surprise announcements at events, list of photographers to hire for the moment, budget of how much she could earn monetizing the story 3. Previous lies. I talked to more people and discovered, at Cousin Rita's wedding, she faked fainting during the first dance. At Cousin Joan's graduation, she announced an engagement. Lie. At a niece's baptism, she showed up in a wedding dress saying she came straight from a photo shoot, also a lie. At Grandma's 80th birthday, she announced a fake pregnancy, then said she miscarried 4. Medical history. Her psychiatrist contacted me, with court permission. Laura has a diagnosis of severe histrionic personality disorder with narcissistic traits. She literally cannot not be the center of attention. It's pathological. She abandoned 5 different treatments because the therapists didn't understand her special shine. 5. Previous victims. After the story went viral, 17 people contacted me with similar stories. High school ex-best friend. Laura seduced her fiancé at her bachelorette party. Ex-coworker. Laura faked cancer to get a promotion. Pedro's ex-sister-in-law. Laura faked a miscarriage at her baby shower. A distant cousin. Laura stole 15,000 BRL saying it was for rare disease treatment and more. In the divorce proceedings, Pedro presented evidence that during pregnancy, Laura took medication to induce labor near my birthday, searched how to safely induce premature birth, consulted 3 lawyers while pregnant about suing me, created 14 fake social media accounts to attack me, paid 5,000 BRL to a witch to cast a spell on me. The scariest part? In her diary, yes, she kept one, she wrote, Day 247 of the project. My idiot sister scheduled the wedding. Perfect. I'll make that day about me. She always had everything. Parents fawning, perfect grades, perfect little boyfriend. My turn. When I announce the twins, everyone will forget it's her wedding. It'll be my moment. And if she reacts badly, even better. I'll be the pregnant victim of the evil sister. Win-win. And another, even more disturbing, entry. Day 89 of the project. I did it. I'm pregnant. With 3. The doctor said it's risky, but the more babies, the bigger the impact. Imagine her face when I announced triplets at the wedding. Too bad I lost one, but twins is enough to ruin her moment. She called it ruining. It wasn't sharing joy. It was destroying my moment. And people had the nerve to tell me I should have let it go. Do you know what the forensic psychiatrist wrote in the report? That Laura poses a moderate to high risk for vindictive behavior and escalation of violence. That she has a pathological fixation on outshining her sister and inability to accept not being the central focus of attention. The guy literally wrote that I was at risk if I kept contact with her. But let's talk about the consequences for everyone else. Because it wasn't just me who suffered. Pedro lost his job because he couldn't work amid the chaos Laura created. Has severe depression, therapy 2x week. Had to move back with his parents at 33. Owes $40K from the loan Laura took in his name. Raising 2 premature babies alone. Lost 15 kilograms from stress. My parents. Mom developed panic disorder. Can't leave the house without anxiolytics. Dad had to increase blood pressure medication. They lost decades-long friendships because people took sides. Spent $30K trying to help Laura with lawyers before learning the truth. The babies. Born at 32 weeks. Lucas spent 45 days in NICU. Sophia, 52 days. Will need follow-up until age 5. Possible respiratory issues. All because Laura took medication to induce labor for more drama, the family. 3 divorces happened because of the fights over this situation. One cousin moved states to escape the drama. One uncle had a heart attack, he's okay now, from stress. The family is irreversibly divided. Me and Lucas spent $50K on lawyers. My professional reputation was damaged. I've been in therapy 2 week. Developed chronic insomnia. Lucas had anxiety attacks. Our first year of marriage was hell. All of this. Because I kicked her out of my wedding after she sabotaged my bride's speech. And you want to know the latest? 2 days ago, Laura sent a letter from detention. Yes, she was preventively detained for violating the restraining order 3 times. The letter said, Dear sister, I hope you're happy with what you achieved. You destroyed my life, my family, took my children from me. But I want you to know I forgive you. I forgive your jealousy, your cruelty, your inability to see me happy. One day, when you have children, if you manage, considering your age and issues, you'll understand a mother's love and you'll regret it. I could have been a wonderful aunt to your children, just as you could have been to mine. But you chose hate. I choose love. I was always the more mature sister after all. P.S. The babies are beautiful. Too bad they'll never know their aunt. Laura. Even when she's in jail for stalking me, she manages to play the victim. Oh, and the final plot twist I discovered this week. Laura is writing a book in prison. Title? Surviving Family Narcissism, How My Sister Destroyed My Life Out of Envy. She is calling me the narcissist. The publisher she contacted called me, said the manuscript is disturbing and clearly written by someone with serious issues. He won't publish it and is considering alerting authorities about the content, which apparently includes detailed revenge fantasies. And there are still people, to this day, who think I should forgive her, that I should visit her in prison, that I should let her see the babies, that I should be the bigger person, that family is forever. You know what I say? Family that respects you is forever. Family that truly loves you doesn't sabotage your wedding. Family that values you doesn't spend years trying to destroy you. Laura isn't my family. She's my biological relative. There's a huge difference. Family is Lucas, who held my hand at every hearing. Family is Amanda, who defended my honor even while being attacked. Family is my dad, who finally chose truth over convenience. Family is even Pedro, who is trying to make up for years of silence. Laura is a lesson about the importance of boundaries, about not accepting abuse just because it shares your DNA, about defending yourself even when the world says you should just take it. So one last time, was I the asshole? Because if defending my own wedding, my mental health, my dignity, and my happiness makes me the asshole, then I'll wear the title proudly. I'd rather be the asshole who stood up for herself than the victim who spent her life being walked all over in the name of family peace. And that's it. That's the whole story. From beginning to end. For now, because knowing Laura, she'll try something when she gets out of prison. To everyone who stood by me, thank you. To those who think I overreacted, that's okay. You didn't live what I lived. To those who think family is an excuse for everything, I hope you never have to test that theory. And to Laura, if you ever read this, no, you're not the victim. No, I'm not jealous. And no, I don't regret it. You reaped exactly what you sowed. The difference is you planted drama and chaos expecting applause and validation. But life isn't a stage, and we're not all your audience. Growing up means accepting that not every moment is about you. It's a shame you're 31 and still haven't learned that. But your children will learn, because they'll grow up far from your toxic influence, surrounded by people who truly love them, not people who use them as props for their personal shows, and that, perhaps, is the only silver lining in this whole tragedy. Guys, if you liked this story and made it to the end, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to know you followed the whole thing. And tell me in the comments, on a scale of 0 to 10, how crazy is this situation? And in your opinion, who's wrong here? Me for kicking her out, or her for doing all of this? I really want to know what you think.